Hi Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising. Welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to your May reading. So the 1st of May itself, we have Pluto going retrograde and it entered Aquarius at the very end of March. It stayed there for 1 month in April, and now as soon as May begins, it's going backward again. And it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn where it came from. So what this indicates is that we can find our inner power and transform the things that we have not taken a look at a renewed state. Okay, so let's talk about the eclipse now. We have another eclipse. This is a lunar eclipse and it's taking place in Scorpio. And this one is kind of the antithesis of what has happened on the 20th of April. That was a solar eclipse and it took place at the very last degrees of Aries, and as soon as the eclipse was done, the moon moved into Taurus and so did the sun. So we still have the Taurus-Scorpio axis getting activated a little bit with this eclipse as well, but it's not going to play out the same way as we had experienced in 2022. So watch out for these themes over here. We'll get into the more zodiac specific readings about this eclipse and what it brings for you in the coming 4 to 6 months in a separate video. So subscribe and hit the bell. You will be notified whenever that's up. And this one's quite pivotal and it has the potential to work out quite well for you because Scorpio is a fellow water sign. Therefore, you have more of an intuitive or a more emotional connection with your Scorpio and Pisces houses. So whatever activity is taking place there, you feel it in a more beneficial way. It's like you can observe and you can modify yourself and take advantage of the situations at hand. And at the same time, because you're a cardinal sign, you're able to take action based on the observations that you make here. So there can be some shifts and changes that you're making in terms of your creativity, your romantic life, your hobbies in general. If you have children, then they could be going through some major changes and it makes you very proud of them. But again, we will talk about that in a separate video entirely. Next, on the 7th of the month, we have Venus moving into your zodiac. So this is very much in your element. This can talk about you are feeling lucky and that you also are a lucky charm for others. And this can indicate you're being very magnetic around this time, very charming and appealing in general. You could be doing some changes to your appearance or your wardrobe, for example. It can also be the way that you present yourself in public and also the perception that you want to create in the minds of others. It's kind of putting the ball in your court and it is up to you here. What else can we get here? Okay, so Venus is a little bit more maternal in this zodiac, and this can indicate that you're very particular about nurturing yourself and your own space. Okay, so people can be seeing you more as, you know, you're very comfortable to be around. They can be themselves around you. You make them feel safe and protected, and that you are very comforting just in general. Like the advice that you give as well is just absolutely very beneficial and puts everyone at ease. So your guidance could be very sought after around this time. Now remember that Mercury is still in retrograde until the 15th. Okay, it went retrograde on the 21st of April and it will go direct on the 15th of May. It is still a little bit groggy around this time and it will be fully direct on the 31st of May. As in, it will be fully out of the shadow zone. Actually, that's what I meant. But when it is retrograde, the things that we discover about ourselves or the edits that we make, the rest we take, you know, the things we revise and review and all of that, when Mercury goes back direct, we can put those plans into action. For you, this would be in your 11th house of friendships and network, your hopes, dreams, aspirations, and how you can put those things to practice. Whenever you have earth elements in these houses, it indicates that you can you can actually make these plans a tangible reality. Okay, you could have also reprioritized and shuffled around things that you think are very important to you and for your future. The friends that you have, they could have been going through some sorts of situations in their life. Perhaps they had some updates for you and you were staying in touch with them, or you're visiting back to some place you have been before to connect with your previous network. Another thing we have, this one's quite nice actually. Mercury goes direct, and right the next day we have Jupiter moving into Taurus. Okay, now this one is going to bring in that extra bit of luck. It's going to indicate that people in your surroundings are expanding or feeling optimistic in your way, in some way, and they are coming towards you too, bringing in these blessings. Like you are feeling like very encouraged by these things, or you know, some advice they give, or you are in the position to give advice here, and they are helping you out, you are helping them out. There's just this mutual ease and respect that is coming through with this intuitively for you guys. For some reason, I'm reading this more intuitively for you than I did for the previous zodiacs, actually. And maybe because it's the water element coming through here and Venus in the sign. I'm kind of vibing with this intuitively. Okay, then there can be some gains if you have your own business. There are some expansion possibilities. Perhaps again, you have looked to some future goals and you think that that's a very good idea and it inspires you, and now you're putting that into action. And Jupiter is basically blessing those future plans. It's as though the manifestation is already made in a future timeline, and it's just a matter of do your due diligence and you will for sure get it. Okay, so it's just very inspiring and motivating over here. On the 19th, we have a new moon in Taurus. So there is a completely new beginning in terms of your friendships, your network, the hopes and all of that we've been talking about for so long. And there is a brand new beginning that perhaps you're learning something new, or you're expanding in some way, and you're very excited about the situation. But you have thought this through, you're realistic, you're practical, and you have put some structures in place. So it's nothing like out of the blue. It's not really a scary thing and all of that. So you're feeling very comfortable with the shifts that are happening around this time. Right the next day, we have Mars moving into Leo. Now, Mars is a fiery planet and Leo is a fiery zodiac. So, of course, there is a compatibility. But at the same time, too much fire can kind of burn the house down, right? There can be like increased expenditure for you because Leo would be in your second house, or there can be some added priorities you have, and you know you can't really negotiate or compromise on either of these topics. So it's not like, you know, priority 1, 2, 3, 4. The hierarchy is not very, very clear. It might seem as though 2 or 3 different things are kind of tugging at you. I'm guessing 2 priorities that you have to deal with. We'll see your cards to get some more details on this, if to what extent I'm getting this correct here. But the positive side of this is that you're very driven, you're extremely motivated and very inspired. You research well as to what would lead you to success. Leo wants to be successful. Mars is very ambitious and driven. So if it means that there needs to be a little bit of a risk-taking attitude and initiative-taking, which is your wheelhouse, then that's what you're going to do here. You're not holding yourself back. Yeah, so whatever this idea is, it has a very good chance to succeed because, first of all, you're in that position personally with Venus in your sign. Jupiter is at a sextile with you in the 11th house. So it's blessing you through your friends and your network and your audience in general. And then your financial condition is as well being motivated and boosted. If you want to shift your financial condition in some way, Mars is then saying, let's start looking for different channels. You know, let's start establishing something. Let's give it the best we got. All right, Leo likes to be the best, and it works really hard to, you know, deserve being the best and so on. That would be the higher version of it. Okay, now the next day we have the sun moving into Gemini, and that's the start of a new zodiac season, Gemini season, and that would indicate we're talking about your 12th house. And around this time, this Gemini time, you could be doing some introspection and reflection on things, about like things that have happened in the previous year from one Gemini season to the other, because that usually happens when things are happening in the 12th house of our chart. We begin to feel those things a little bit more. Maybe you'll start feeling this in the beginning of June when there will be more planets in there, but yes, even now you start feeling some repercussions, or like not repercussions really, but like okay, so I tried this and that did not work, but I tried this and that was pretty great. So maybe I can, do more of this, and I could try this and that, things like that, where you sort out the information that you have gathered in the previous year. In the last week as well, we have a couple more aspects and many more sprinkled throughout the month. I will not get into all of them over here, but I will post about them in my community page. So subscribe, hit the bell, you will be notified, and also for the eclipses as well. Okay, we have the universe works fast when I'm having fun as your first oracle message. Your first major highlight is the bell with announcement. Then we have the table which says hard work ahead. Absolutely. And we have a month of the year, which is January. Okay, so something could have sparked in January already. At that time, if you look back, you might have felt as though it was a slow start to the year, but then things started ramping up around like February, middle of February. There were more plans, there were some ideas, nothing yet again going full force, but absolutely things happening in the background. So January was as well one of those months where things were brewing in the background that we were not even fully conscious of what we were creating in that time. So the intentions that you've made, the plans you had made, perhaps it's not in your conscious mind at the moment, or maybe it is for some of you, depending on how connected you are with that or how often you reflect and so on and so forth. But it still is saying that there is like a new beginning that has been created in January that will come to some sort of fruition here, or that idea is brought back into life in this particular month for you. This can also indicate that in this time you're ready to make a new beginning, but first we are also simultaneously reflecting a little bit, and at the same time like, okay, let me think about this, we thought about it, now let's go and put that into implementation and see how that shapes out. And again, we're still fixing things, we're still organizing information as we go along. Of course, we can't do one thing only in isolation, but in tandem, how everything is working is it just feels very dynamic, and because the oracle card here says fun, I'm guessing that this dynamism is really exciting for you. And there is a healthy dose of let's grind down and be practical about things. Let's do things steadily and focusedly. We don't need to rush through anything, but at the same time, let's create something great that we can be happy and proud about. Okay, there's a very healthy dose of everything going on here. We have the Death coming up first in your tarot. Then we have the Five of Cups. Okay. Then we have the Ten of Wands. Wow, you really have a lot of work in this month. So congratulations if that's something you've been wanting. We have the Three of Wands, some positive news and messages coming through. And we have the Two of Pentacles, more financial resources as well. Now the Death and the Five of Cups, I'm getting that this is a little bit about that 12th house topic I was talking about. 12th house is also connected with some karmic rewards as well. So if we had not seen, outcomes of our past actions, thoughts, and words, then whenever things move into the 12th house, we get some rewards of that, of the things that just were not able to be fulfilled in a previous time. Okay, so I feel like this transformation is some of those things. So what happens first is that, we remember of something difficult, something repressed or suppressed, something way in the past that we have completely forgotten about and moved on. Okay, and when that comes back up, we wonder if we actually have moved on. But the 12th house then says, at the same time, that yes, you yourself as an individual have gone through a lot. And by showing that long lost memory, we're kind of showing you just how different you are now, just how far you have come since that previous loss or some connection that didn't work. Perhaps you've attempted something in the thing that you've been wanting to create and it did not work and you were not very happy about that. But now here you are. You're making headway, you're getting a lot of responsibility, you have a lot of things that you're taking care of, and you're managing it really well. And I think the idea of you yourself is changing this month. That's really strong. And you're feeling a lot more light and optimistic as well. I feel as though even if you do have a lot of work, the Two of Pentacles is still like very light, you know? It's kind of in the air, it has things going on, but there are like appointments and time slots, and you know, it's still organized. Like after I finish my lunch, I'm going to go print that thing, and after I'm done with that, I will sign some papers, or like, you know, whatever the case is, right? There's like a sequence to things. That's how it happens. Even though these are like separate topics, you're still dealing with them one by one, and that's what makes it manageable with the Two of Pentacles. So I feel like even if you have a lot of things to do, you know how to do it, you know how to approach it. And I think that's what sets you apart from the last time something did not work. And the same goes with like connections. You know, you might think, oh my God, you know, this is a new relationship or a new friendship here, but you know, my past has not been giving me a lot of hope. So will I repeat that same thing, or will the same thing keep happening to me? But then at the same time you realize that, but I'm not in the same place in life anymore, and I'm not the same person anymore as that memory that came up or that idea that I'm thinking about. Therefore, the outcome is as well not going to be the same as before. It's so... yeah, I was not expecting this to go this way. It's very boosting. And at the same time, very humble as well. I really love it. And death, by the way, corresponds with the Scorpio energy. And again, there if you have children, there can be some changes in what they are dealing with. And you might simultaneously feel as though, okay, well, you know, this kid is growing up now. But at the same time, you're really happy that there's like a whole life ahead of them, and they have so many new things to discover. And you're really excited to get to the new phase of things here. Yeah, that's another thing. And if you have something creative going on, this can be you changing your expression in some way, and for that you might have to learn a little bit extra stuff. But also at the same time, you're like having a lot of fun, you're enjoying this new thing, so you're excited about the journey up ahead. Okay, nice. Then we have Creator Water, which is of course corresponding to your zodiac. Then we have You Are Living Poetry, nice artistic expression, self-expression, and this kind of goes with the Venus qualities that I was talking about. You might be very charming and well presented. People are finding you very approachable. They want to come to you, talk to you, interact with you, work with you, and all of those things. And we have You Are Epic, which corresponds to the Emperor energy, so that's a very boss vibe. You know, I think you're just taking charge of your life, like fully, like to your wishes. It's not about taking charge because someone else told you to. Okay, you're taking charge because you want to, or it feels right in that moment. Even if someone else is giving you a certain task, you still like, you know what, I'm gonna make this the best I can. You're just really, I think you're wanting something out of here. And you're willing to forgive and forget things that did not work because you know that what you actually wanted, it has been here all along. So there's no need to mourn something's lost, because what's yours will never be lost. What's not yours will be. Thank goodness, because we let it be. We don't want that. It's not authentic to us, and it's not helping our soul or our personal growth either. So I feel like even if, again, you have many responsibilities, but all of them are things that inspire you. To be even able to carry so many responsibilities, you need to have as much strength, right? Otherwise, you would not arrive at these many topics or things that you can deal with in the first place. So it just, I'm feeling a very admiration type of quality here. I feel like the message here is that you've done great, and then you've come very far. This is there needs to be an applaud for, and the very commendable, especially if you've been dealing with some major transformations inside, emotionally as well, with the eclipse cycles. There could have been some things that were triggered around 2022 and so on, things you have been working on. Even if not, whatever it is, the efforts that you put in as a Cancerian, you know, you're emotionally invested in things, and then you do those things. Otherwise, you know, you're not going to waste your time on relationships. You don't allow just random people into your space, not internally, not externally. You're very selective about stuff like that. So when you're emotionally invested in someone, you make sure that you do plenty. And in that process, you might forget about yourself or your true needs in that process. So there can be that facade of, but I cared and but I wanted and I tried to connect and so on. So why did that not work? There can be still that hurt or that sorrow that comes up in the beginning stages of this transformation. But again, if you've dealt with this or this has cropped up before, this showcases in this month especially that you're moving on from something like that. It looks like a clean slate, honestly. You're not adding on more burdens than is necessary. You're not taking on more responsibility than is yours. Okay? Very nice. Lovely boundaries. Very clear and straightforward with your priorities. Very nice. Boss mode on. Cancerians, please, month of May. How's that looking? Pisces, 6th house, and Pluto. Pluto is about transformation as well. There can be some spiritual breakthroughs and awakenings as well. Emotional health and well-being coming through here. If you're feeling overworked, then this can be you setting down certain responsibilities so that you have only the things that you are wanting and craving to continue with, those that bring you joy and motivation as well. I think you're trying to create a little bit more flexibility in your life as well around this time so that you have more breathing room, more kind of, you're managing your health, your stress, and actually this looks like eliminating stress. Like Pisces is not the one to stress, okay? And Pluto over there is all about elimination. So you're getting rid of those things. I think you're making more of a spiritual practice to meditate or introspect or, take mindful walks or breathing exercises, cleansing, whatever it is that suits you. But you're finding a lot of actual, like tangible, very noticeable, very noticeable benefits from this. And I think your skin is glowing, your health, you feel light, you feel active, you have good sleep. I feel like everything is kind of returning to a very natural rhythm here. So whatever this announcement is, it looks like you're hearing some sort of positive message. Can be related to work, does not have to be, but you're hearing something that makes you feel very nice here. And you're starting something as well, and I think you're like starting something and other people are very encouraging about that, or you get some sort of information and you're like, wow, that's just the help I needed. It makes it seem like much less of a risk, because I'm not seeing very risky cards, but at the same time you are epic, has a little bit of that risk-taking attitude. So what you thought was going to be a very big risk actually has a lot more support than you had originally seen, and that brings in a lot more hope here. And you still have to put in the work, of course, that goes for like anything that you want to do in life, but you find it very joyful and very fulfilling. Very nice. And also your intuition is very sharp. Okay, I want to go one more for Cancer, please. We have Gemini, Moon, and the 11th house. Yeah, you see there's the network going on here. Any network, and also your audience, if you have that. Your friends, acquaintances, people who you interact with who are not your closest, one-on-one relationships or partnerships. Yeah, these people are going to be very, very supportive of you, and also they can be there for like emotional times if you want to like have a nice chat with someone. I think there are many people over here, and going out with your friends as well is going to be very soothing. Apart from that, the 11th house talks about following your goals, following your dreams, and I feel like with the Gemini there, you have a clear idea of what you want to be creating. And the Moon is like you're emotionally invested in there. I'm also hearing that you're getting a lot of power from that house for some reason. There's a lot of power in there. Wow. I'd like some... Let me get like another message. I don't know why I want a message for Cancer, please. Can we get a message for Cancer for the month of May? We have have the Knight of Wands, which is about passion and drive, motivation. There's so much creativity as well. Here's the charm and magnetism coming through. Ace of Swords. Yeah, this says that there is going to be some sort of epiphany and like realization, and again some sort of breakthrough. Yeah, that's the word. There is a breakthrough and you're revitalized. Yeah, you're absolutely revitalized here, energetically, mentally, the way you're speaking, it has just so much power here. And you know, again, you're a water sign, so even if you're very, very straightforward as a Cancerian, it just comes out like, yep, that's correct. And you know how to say it nicely as well, you know, but at the same time have the boundaries. You have like the best of both worlds in that way, right? So really in your element in some way, but at the same time working through stuff. You just feel very strong and capable in yourself. You feel independent, and as if the future is looking a lot more hopeful than some previous times here. You're thankful also that you did some work in the previous times, because you're honestly getting some rewards of that. It's kind of like you try something and then it doesn't work initially and you're like, what? I did everything. I tried everything. I did what I was supposed to do, but then it's still not working. I even did the whole positive thinking and all of that. But for some reason, there are like unexplainable, you know, situations that work in the background sometimes. But this looks like all of a sudden everything just starts opening up and it's just flooding in, and then you're like, whoa, 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 okay. So let's go at it one by one. I can't obviously handle every single thing, but I'm really grateful that things are starting to move forward here. Okay, amazing. So that's what I have for you, Cancerians. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading helps you out. Let me know your thoughts, and if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.